My name is Jake Scallan, and I'm the operations manager at Santa Cruz Veterans Alliance. I got involved with medical cannabis after I was discharged from the Air Force. I was medically retired for post-traumatic stress, traumatic brain injury, and also have spinal problems. I was in for 4 years. I was security forces, which is like military police in the Air Force, and we do air-based defense and also military law enforcement. I definitely had a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress about going to crowded places and being in unfamiliar places, especially if I was alone or didn't have friends that I trusted. I was really skittish, really alert. Hypervigilance is like what they say. Having a lot of bad dreams, a lot of night terrors and stuff like that. And then also a lot of physical pain. So it was tough. I definitely alienated a lot of friends, and I coped heavily with alcohol when I first got back. And then, taking the pills only kind of made that progression worse. When you go to the VA for mental health, they usually prescribe to you like an antidepressant, some type of benzodiazepine like Xanax, Klonopin, Ativan. I was also prescribed atypical antipsychotics for sleep. I was taking 600 milligrams of Seroquel every night for sleep. Opiate painkillers for the pain, and then you kind of build tolerances to those. So it's like you're always switching pills and trying something new, and it doesn't even really work. So you just start taking more. And the thing too was, I remember the first time I went to the VA when I got out of the military, they just gave me 3 months worth of pills and were like, catch you later in 3 months. Like, no, don't even sit down, talk with you. I mean, things have gotten better, but it's, it was a really flawed system a few years back. They were only aggravating, I feel, my depression and even anger symptoms, because it was you don't accomplish anything. I would stay up all night, probably till 3 o'clock, because I couldn't sleep, and then finally when the pills kick in, I'd wake up the next day around 1, 2 p.m. and it's not like you could ever get a day started. It's like you wake up, take a antidepressant pill, and take a benzo to just feel like you could meet the day. And then halfway through the day, you're already taking another benzo, and then you're taking another benzo when it's dinner time, and then it's you take your painkillers and your sleeping pills, and it's just a constant fog. You're never not under the effect of a pill. I tried taking my own life, and it's definitely, I mean, they say the number's 22 a day, but that's only after a survey of 21 states, so I mean, how many vets are really killing themselves a day? No one knows, but it's tough, and it's definitely a problem. And the pills and the kind of some of the programs that are prescribed to these vets, it doesn't help, and only makes it worse. I remember my best friend saying to me one day, he's like, dude, I don't even know what you're saying half the time. You seem so out of it. And I never really realized that, or no one ever pointed that out. And so I decided to try medical cannabis. And it was definitely a world of relief compared to what the pills were offering. And I eventually got off all medications prescribed by the VA and solely medicate with cannabis. I smoke a lot of flowers and a lot of concentrates. It wasn't until I started smoking concentrates that I was able to get off the Seroquel and the benzos for good. I definitely use a lot of high THC stuff. Also CBD, I use a lot of CBD tincture at night for sleeping, and because I have a lot of spinal pain and can't really lay down in a position for one long time. I didn't have any kind of vet friends or know any military people here in California when I got out. And I think that's really what was kind of tearing me up and beating me up, because I didn't have any peers or anyone, that went through those experiences that understood. And that's kind of what led me to start my own veterans cannabis group at the dispensary I worked at. And then I was able to meet Jason and Aaron from the Santa Cruz Veterans Alliance, and this was when they were first getting going. And they said, oh, you're a vet, trying to do this. Since they're veterans themselves and they grow, they would donate, their medicine to our group to hand out for free. And then eventually I had to leave the collective where I worked at to just move on to bigger, better things. And I was lucky enough to get hired on at Santa Cruz Veterans Alliance. And from there, we've just been growing steadily, trying to help as many people as we can. We have a meeting once a month, and we usually have around 100 and 120 vets show up for, a free bag of medicine grown by a team of veterans. We're, trying to get our own storefront open so we were conducting a study with the VA about how cannabis affects veterans. So that's kind of the first study of its own time. And, we were working with him. I'd like to be, part of the team that's responsible for getting cannabis in the VA. I want it to be seen as a legitimate method of healing. I would just like to see everybody, have their own right to choose, It's just a simple plant, and there's a lot of people out there that try to produce it to the highest standards, us included, to try to help as many people as possible. It's it's definitely something that's not negative, especially people have a negative connotation. It's like, well, talk to me, talk to my friend Tom, he's a Purple Heart veteran, got blown up in Afghanistan. Tell him he's a bad person. So many people out there are going through a hard time, and maybe if they hear my story, they'll be like, oh, maybe I could try cannabis, or maybe I try something different, and just try to get them out of that loop, and get them on like their next part of their life. It's been so beneficial to me, and I want anyone that could benefit from it to get that benefit, especially if they're a veteran. They fought for that right. They, signed on a dotted line and served their country. Like, they deserve the right to choose their medicine and what works best for them.
Medication.